Morgan Webb.
And I'm Adam Sessler.
And we would like to welcome everyone to the 2016 Bethesda E3 Showcase. We are inside the LA hangar. This is a massive space that Bethesda has completely taken over and built out special for this year's big event. This venue is so big, it's actually become the 6th largest theater in the state of California.
And we're here with almost 2,000 people, including press, industry stalwarts, and most importantly, hundreds of Bethesda's biggest fans. Just like last year's showcase, Bethesda has opened the doors to the people who play their games. And along with all of you watching this live stream, we'll be getting a first look at the games to play for years to come.
Now, the showcase is going to begin in about 20 minutes, but it's not just about the stage show. Right after the showcase, we'll be back here live with exclusive interviews with all the developers behind the games you just saw on stage.
It'll all take place during what Bethesda is calling BE3 Plus. A big celebration with live game demos and more. We'll take you inside BE3 Plus, show you all the amazing stuff that's on display, and dig deep to reveal even more info about all the games you'll see tonight.
So be sure to stick around for the entire live stream and follow us throughout the event on Twitter @Bethesda using the hashtag BE3. So send us your comments, and if we answer one of your questions on air, you might even win something awesome that I can't show you yet. Trust me, you want it.
You actually do.
You do.
Now, it was just a year ago that Morgan and I reunited for the first time in years to host the pre and post show for Bethesda's first ever showcase.
Yes, and it is good to be back together again.
I would say so. Now, do I look older or just balder?
I wouldn't open that door.
Of course, a lot has happened in the past year. For example, Bethesda released a small game, the Fallout 4.
Oh, I have heard of that game.
Yes, and somehow it managed to be one of the biggest releases of 2015. You know, I actually am still playing Fallout 4. Not because I'm inept.
No?
Well, not because I'm inept in playing Fallout 4, I'm an inept in other things, but because Bethesda's managed to release 3 different add-ons. The most recent one is Far Harbor, which I've only just begun to explore.
Yeah, it's huge. It's actually the largest landmass of any Bethesda add-on. It's even bigger than Skyrim's Shivering Isles. Plus, it's got that spooky vibe. Something is going on up in Maine. So how about we take a look at Far Harbor right now?
See, creepy.
Yes.
Creepy and fun. Here's another fun fact. I love bipedal fish creatures. They're my only friends in my fantasy life.
They have the lures on their heads. They're really cool.
Exactly. So, Morgan, do you actually have a favorite moment from Fallout 4?
I spent so much time getting my settlements up and running and trying to make them look a little bit nicer. I mean, slapping a painting on that rotted out wall, I think it really spruces the place up a little bit, doesn't it?
Yes, yes. It really ties the whole lean-to together.
Yes.
Now, I have to be honest, I really love the freedom to build in Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And I really, really did try to make things nicer for my settlers, and I failed all of them. Even in the apocalypse, I am not Jonathan Adler.
I think they should be happy that they have beds, right? They always complain to me about their sleeping arrangements. Did they not see my painting? I crafted that myself.
All that time and apocalyptic paint. No, I got to the point where I'd just be slapping down a sleeping bag and like, here, is that good enough for you? Oh, you want a roof over your head, I see. Well, too bad, because this is what you get. What other people actually can pull off in creating those settlements is absolutely incredible.
I know, they did better than me, so you guys should get ready to get jealous.
All right. I think this is true for many, many people.
Yeah.
I love the setting of Fallout 4, especially in those denser parts of Boston, and how it juxtaposed that Fallout sci-fi with actual historical locales. And I also remember just how awestruck I was the first time I stepped into Diamond City. It was just like, wow, this is like some kind of odd fantasy horror in my mind.
Yes, the great green jewel.
Yes.
You guys should totally try the power noodles. They're worth the price. I didn't really think he was a baseball fan, though. That's why I'm a little surprised about it.
Well, no one ever really presented baseball from a survivalist perspective before, so it really kind of got to me. Now, there was also this time, and this is very, very true, I stepped inside the Massachusetts State House just to, like, maybe pick up some aluminum and some glue because, you know, you need all the glue in the world.
You have a lot of people relying on you.
Now, about 2 hours later, I'm still there. I don't know how far underground I'm going, and I'm just fighting bigger and bigger Mirelurks. It was just one of those wonderful, surprising moments about the game.
Yeah, so who's your favorite character?
Nick Valentine, hands down. He's actually probably one of my most favorite characters in any game ever. I love detectives. If I lived in a fantasy world where things were more mysterious, I would be a detective. So hanging with him and going through his special quest was just deeply satisfying. I mean, the idea of having a world-weary noir robot Gumshoe as your buddy, that just won me over.
pretty much had your name written all over it. I can say that my favorite thing actually was probably having the Pip-Boy on my iPad. I'm completely obsessed with it. It made it very convenient. I can probably blame some of my deaths on not actually paying attention and playing on my iPad. So
I'm leveling up. Oh, I'm dead.
Oh, I'm not leveling up anymore. Why isn't this working any? Oh.
Yes.
Right.
Well, speaking of tablets.
Yes.
Transition.
I love it.
We can't forget about Fallout Shelter. At last year's showcase, Bethesda both announced and released Fallout Shelter. And since then, it has become the most played title from Bethesda Game Studios. Are you still playing Shelter?
I am, because I have to make sure my resource-sucking babies are going to grow up to be productive members of society that I can exploit for more resources. Kids are useless. Oh, I did name one of them after you, though.
I really hope you didn't send him to the barbershop for a haircut.
No, because I systematically bred baldness out of my vault.
You monster! Oh, okay. Can you at least put me in a room with the parrot? I love the pets in the game, but I'm all down with the parrots.
All right, I will hook you up with a parrot to make all your weirdo pirate fantasies come true.
Argy.
Okay. There are other updates to Fallout Shelter. They also added rooms for crafting items. They added a day and night cycle, new weapons and armor, and new characters, including...
Install them directly in your game, or you can browse them online at Bethesda.net.
Now, even better, Fallout 4 mods are not limited to just the PC anymore. While they're still created on the PC, you can now install mods on the console. In May, mods came to Xbox One, and they're arriving on PlayStation 4 later this month.
So let's take a look at some of the coolest Fallout 4 mods. You know, to be fair, that really just scratches the surface of what's available out there as a mod. And I've always been amazed at how creative people are them. It's like with the shelters in the apocalypse. I am just proud to get my pants on in one try.
We're proud of you, too.
Yeah. Fallout fans really know how to go all out.
Okay, but not just Fallout fans. Doom fans know how to go all out, too.
That's right. Doom was released last month, reminding gamers that the best way to win something is to keep moving forward and never stop.
Always moving forward. When everyone got to see the original gameplay demo at Bethesda's E3 showcase last year, people were amazed at the fast pace. But when we sat down to play, we got to see the depth of the game. I love the rune challenges. I know you are still working on some of those.
Yes, that Rich and Richer challenge.
Rich get richer?
With the rocket launcher. Tweet at me any advice on how I can do this. I am stuck.
We should track down one of the devs to do that for you. That's their job, right?
Oh, that's right. We're here at Bethesda.
Yeah, right?
There's something more convenient. Still, tweet at me, whatever. Anyway, I also like to unlock those classic maps because it really does highlight just how much gaming has changed from when the original Doom really... It didn't create, it wasn't the first, but it really started the FPS movement. If you want to make something with a classic feel, you can also do that in SnapMap.
Yes, and SnapMap is kind of fun for a couple reasons. First, somebody always makes a really, really easy map that gives you 1 billion points. That's the one that I play first. And then second, people make some really interesting and imaginative things.
Now, if you guys haven't played around with SnapMap, it's pretty easy when you get started, and it gets really deep if you want to dig in. Things just snap together, hence the name. Snap Map. And you can scroll through available options. You can place every enemy individually, or you can let the AI place them for you. You can create the triggers to spawn enemies, or put them all in one room to build a really uncomfortable hellspawn mixer. Or you can do a lot, and you can do a little.
Yeah, and you also, what I love is you have a lot of control over the look and feel of the environment. There are way more options than I imagined. So I was inspired by the grainy filter to work on a film noir adventure with demons. However, I am actually sad to report Fedora's not part of SnapMap. I was disappointed too.
Because they're part of every aspect of gaming.
But if that's not enough for you, there is, of course, competitive multiplayer.
Yes, and the thing I love about the competitive multiplayer is it really is a throwback to when I started out, back in the Tech TV days. There was the Quake 3, that kind of classic way of competitive multiplayer. But then when you add in the ability to spawn in as a demon with the demon powers, that's where it also has this contemporary feel, and that really has a really interesting effect on the flow of the matches and how the focus shifts during the course of them.
Yeah.
Now, Doom and Fallout 4 are just some of the Bethesda games we're playing. And Morgan,
yes,
I do understand you've been spending quite a bit of time with the Elder Scrolls Legends, which is the strategy card game based in the Elder Scrolls universe that Bethesda first announced at last year's showcase and is currently in closed beta.
It is. So back in late April at PAX East, Bethesda announced the game was in closed beta. I am not ashamed to admit that I was able to snag myself an invite.
Aren't you the lucky one? Now, this being a closed beta, I know that everyone has agreed not to utter a word about their experiences, but it's just you and me right here. So how about you just tell me how it is?
No, you're just going to have to see for yourself. If you can get an invite, I recommend batting your eyelashes.
Like this? Please.
It's not going to work. Hope is not lost, however. There is a video of the game in action. Roll tape!
Legends isn't the only Elder Scrolls game that's having a moment. The Elder Scrolls Online had a very big year.
Yeah, so even though the game has been available for more than 2 years, they've made some really big updates to Elder Scrolls Online since launch.
Let's see, there's Imperial City. Players finally got to face off against Molag Bal's army. Then in December, Orsinium added over 20 hours of new content to Elder Scrolls Online.
They also made a whole bunch of changes that the community and media really responded to. The Elder Scrolls Online went from what the devs admit was a rocky start to being named Best MMO at the end of 2015.
But amidst all the bright news, the Elder Scrolls Online has also recently launched Thieves Guild in April, and Dark Brotherhood also launched on PC just last week.
So ever since the launch, they have really wanted to explore the lore that we've all loved in the other Elder Scrolls games. For example, they picked the Gold Coast of Cyrodiil for Dark Brotherhood.
Like Kvatch, which 400 years later gets obliterated by Oblivion demons. You kind of want to tell the residents not to get too used to the place or not that attached. As an Elder Scrolls junkie, this is exactly what I love about ESO. It's getting lost in all the expansive lore and geography.
And speaking of fans, we would like to take a moment to say hello to all of the Bethesda fans around the globe.
From London to Moscow, Paris to Tokyo, gamers have gathered to watch the BE3 showcase. And down in Australia, Bethesda's taken over the Sydney Opera House so fans can watch the showcase live.
And earlier today, we got to chat with some of the gamers here in LA who lined up to see the showcase. Let's take a look at what they had to say.